This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a registered broker-dealer member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor, Hummingbird Wealth Management, LLC, and Cambridge are not affiliated. Now sit back and relax and enjoy another episode of Be the Hummingbird. Here's your host, Laura Johnson.
Hello, and welcome to the latest edition of Be the Hummingbird, where we strive to inspire, motivate, and educate through stories and just educational moments, guest speakers, whatever it's going to take to help to inspire and motivate and educate you. And what are we inspiring you and motivating you to do? It's really just to live the best life you possibly can, because I don't know about you, but tomorrow is not promised. And so we just want to give you the tools to live the best life that you possibly can. So happy New Year's, everybody. We are going to use this opportunity to have a conversation about finances and New Year's resolution. So we all have that famous New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to exercise more. And I used to dread this every time I'd show up at the gym, January 1st, 2nd, 3rd. There's all these new people. I'm like, oh my God, they're taking up my space in my gym. But I've got a new attitude and a new lease on life in the last couple of years. I embrace it. I'm excited. I'm excited for people to show up. I'm excited for them to start their journey, whether that journey is in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, or December. I'm excited that somebody wants to start their health journey. And health isn't just about going to the gym. Health is about taking care of yourself in other ways as well, like how I segued into that. I think it's true. You know, when we take care of our finances, it's amazing how bad finances can impact you mentally and physically, and how it can affect your relationships with other people. But when you are strong financially, and that doesn't mean you're out of debt and you're making $1 million a year. That's not what this means at all. What it means is that you are responsible and you know what's going on with your money. That's when you'll notice things like the stress coming off your shoulders. Now, I'm going to tell you, the stress isn't ever going to go off your shoulders 100%, right? We all carry some level of stress and strain in our life and anxiety. And I apologize for the crack in my voice. I have been sitting in a hospital for the last 2 weeks. Talk about stress. Not me. Anyway, back to New Year's resolutions, right? Taking care of your finances takes some of that stress off. And when you have stress on your body, it's not just mental, it's physical. It is going to hurt you. And then obviously your finances are hurting you as well. So if you have that New Year's resolution to take better care of yourself, you need to include your finances as a part of it. So one of the things that I think that is important is don't beat yourself up. Take an opportunity to reflect on the last 12 months of your life and say, okay, what are some things that I was able to accomplish? Maybe one of the things that I set out to accomplish this year was getting $1,000 in my emergency fund, which is a bare minimum that most people should have in their emergency fund. And you were able to get $750 in there. Well, applaud yourself, congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, I did a good job. And then focus on, well, what are some things I struggled with? And are they still important? And why did I struggle on them? Because that self-reflection, a lot of times things will pop up that will go, oh, I could have done something a little different in that situation and be able to have met my goal or be closer to meeting my goal. It's kind of like dieting, right? You know, you look back and you say, hey, what I did well is, I cut back on my alcohol or I increased my water. But the one thing that you struggled with is the scale's not moving. Now, I know when my scale's not moving, it's very frustrating because I'm putting all the work in. And the temptation is to say, screw it. I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to get myself a Boston cream donut. And that's one of the things that we can look back on your finances is say, okay, well, I had a goal to get out of debt and I was going to stick to my strict budget for the amount of time it's going to help me to get out of debt. But then I wasn't seeing my credit cards come down as fast as I'd like to see them. Like I wasn't seeing the scale come down as fast as I'd like to see it, right? And so I said, screw it. And I went out to dinner and I went out shopping and I bought some presents for myself and for my kids, and all that work I just put into all my credit cards, I just screwed up in 24 hours, right? So it's good to reflect on what you did well in the last year, but you got to figure out, well, where did you go wrong and what maybe we can do about it going forward. One of the other things that's important is knowing what did you use to track your success and your progress and what could work better for you if that's not working for you. So one of my wins for the year, I'm going to celebrate one of my wins for the year, is that my husband and I have been in credit card debt times in our marriage, and we've been together since 1990. Well, we've been together since 1985. We've been married since 1991. And during our lifetime, we've been in a high level of credit card debt. And high is relative to everybody, right? 3 separate times in our marriage. And the most recent time happened after I created Hummingbird Wealth Management. I went from earning a very nice 6-figure salary to nothing and having to create this company all by myself. Well, not by myself. I had my husband and my family there to help me, but financially, I had to create that. And so we went into a little debt in order to accomplish that. And I've become successful, but that debt has been a load on my mind and on my financial statement for several years. And so this past year, I was able to pay off 2 of the 4 credit cards, and I'm on my way to paying the other 2 off as well. So I'm excited about that. So that's what I want you to do. Look back and see where your success has been and, enjoy it. I will tell you, I could have paid those credit cards off sooner, but it did some things. Like I'm going on a nice trip with my husband in February for his 60th birthday. I had a huge 60th birthday celebration. All money that I could have applied towards my credit card, but I choose to balance my life with my responsibilities of paying my credit cards off. So do that too. It's important. So one of the things you want to do when you're sitting down at the beginning of the year making your New Year's resolutions is make sure that the goals that you set for yourself are SMART. Now, SMART doesn't mean intelligent. SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, and I forgot the R and the T. Oh, T is trackable. We're going to skip the R because I forgot what that was. Shows you how smart I am. Specific goals are like, I'm going to have myself a $1,000 emergency fund. If you have no emergency fund, then that should be your goal. It's specific, it's measurable, and in your instance, it might be achievable. Now, you might want to put a time frame associated with some kind of goal that you have. So if building an emergency fund is your goal and you can only put $50 a month into that, you're not going to hit that goal at the end of the year. So do not make it so that you say, I'm going to save $1,000. I'm going to have $1,000 in my emergency fund by March, but you can only put $50 a month into it. You want to say, my goal is to eventually have $1,000 in there, but my goal by the end of the first quarter is to have 150, second quarter, 300, and so forth and so on. Another goal might be to pay off your credit cards. Well, paying off your credit cards is a goal, but it's not really specific, right? You want to say, well, I want to pay off my credit cards, and the way I'm going to do that, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. There's the snowball method, there's the avalanche method, but whatever that method is that you use. And if you need some more specific guidance on those, I have another podcast you can listen to on those, right? But you want to make sure that it's not, I'm going to pay off my credit cards. I'm going to pay off my credit cards, and this is how I'm going to do that. I'm going to focus on one credit card that's the highest interest rate, mediocre balance, and I'm going to put minimum payments towards all my credit cards except for that one. And I'm not going to charge anything else for the next year. So that's what a SMART goal might be. Another one might be increasing your savings rate. Our guideline rule of thumb, and this isn't for everybody, but if you can be saving 15% of your salary towards your retirement goal, for most people will be somewhere on target to accomplish your retirement goals. Now, a lot of that is impacted by when you want to retire, when you started saving, what kind of lifestyle you're going to have in retirement, those types of things. But here's the thing. If you're saving nothing and you change it and say, I'm going to save 1% of my income towards retirement, you're on your way to success. So when you're looking at your goals, which ones are more important? So this is where I'm going to tell you there's two of them that are the most important that you want to do. Because without these two goals in mind and without focusing on them, and that's what a lot of people come to me and talk to me is like, I've got this and this and this and this and this that I want to accomplish. And I ask them, well, what's most important to you? I know what should be most important, but what should be most important is sometimes emotionally not what's most important for you. So, what should be most important? First and foremost is having an emergency fund. Now, eventually, I like to see people have 3 to 6 months worth of their income in a savings account that's accessible so that should some kind of an emergency pop up, and let's face it, the largest emergency you have is a loss of job and a loss of income. So you're not able to pay your bills. So you want that, income to be able to, or savings to be able to pull from until you find another job. But a lot of us don't have an emergency savings and we have credit card debt. So do you build your emergency savings to 3 to 6 months and not focus on the credit card debt? The answer is no. But you should have some kind of emergency savings available. So my guideline is $1,000. $1,000 usually covers almost every small emergency. Like you're driving your car to the job that you have, you feel comfortable with, and the engine does something. You take it to the car shop and they say, okay, Ms. Johnson, that is going to be $896.32. Well, thank goodness you have that $1,000 emergency because you can now pay for that, still go to the job that's paying you to pay your bills, and then you can still focus on your debt management. So hand in hand, that emergency fund and debt management are something that should be priorities if those are issues for you. Once you have those things cleared up, so you have 3 to 6 months worth of emergency fund income, 3 to 6 months worth of income in your emergency fund, and you've paid off your credit cards and you're living through your cash. And living through cash doesn't mean you're living through actual cash. I know a lot of people don't take cash anymore. Go figure. You can use credit cards to pay for things. It's just you want to make sure that you're using the credit card and paying it off every month. So it's really cash flow. I know a lot of people use their credit cards to earn points, or they might have, irregular cash flow. So instead of using their cash all the time and feeling like they're poor all the time, they might use a credit card. But you have to have some kind of control over what you're doing. But once you get to those things, then it's time to focus on goals. Short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals. Things like, I want to buy a new car. I want to put Susie and Johnny through college. I want to retire in 20 years, those types of things. So how do you make sure that when you sit down and make your New Year's resolution and make financial goals a part of your New Year's resolution process, how do you make sure that you're doing it right and you're going to succeed? Well, education. That's a big part of this. Making sure that you don't pretend to know it all. None of us knows it all. And you take the opportunity to do things like you're doing right now and listen to podcasts. Take time to read a book, go to a seminar or workshop that, a banker or a financial planner or a lender might be holding, but just staying informed. And don't be afraid of what you don't know. Reach out and say, hey, I don't understand what cash flow means. I don't understand what a balance sheet is. Those are things that financial professionals, we throw those words around all the time, but we are more than happy to sit down and explain those things for you. And if you're going to focus on anything, like I said, that emergency fund, boosting your retirement savings, one of the biggest things, though, I can tell you that a lot of people seem to ignore, and I actually just did this with my dad for the 2 weeks that I was down there with him. He is paying for things that he doesn't even know he has. He's got He's got Car Shield, which is like a protection thing on his car. He doesn't drive it. The car is probably worth $4,000. It's a nice little BMW 3 Series convertible that my mom bought, and she passed away, and my dad's been driving it. So he's got this Car Shield that's $179 a month. You do the math. Let's just round it up. $200 a month, $2,400 a year. The car's worth $4,000. And he's had this Car Shield, 5 years now. He's put more into this Car Shield than he has in the car. I'm like, Dad. He goes, I thought I got rid of that. I'm like, no. And then he's got, I think, 2 Netflix accounts. Nobody needs 2. He's paying for Uber, but he never uses it. He's got a Uber membership, and he never uses it. So I guess my point here is take a look at your credit card bill. Take a look at your bank statement. Make sure you're not paying for things that you totally forgot you signed up for. Or I know I do this sometimes. I sign up for something with the full intention to cancel it at the end of the free period, and life happens and I totally forget about it. And then I've been paying $20 a month for something and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know how to get rid of it. So building these healthy habits, just like building healthy habits with exercise, building these healthy habits with your finances is equally important. But just like you get so excited when you get on that scale and you're like, oh, I lost a pound, or I can lift heavier weights, or whatever it might be, you need to take the opportunity to celebrate the success you're having with your finances as well. So I hope this podcast has inspired you and motivated you, along with a little bit of education. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Laura Johnson, and this podcast has been presented by Listen Frederick. And as always, it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.
Thank you, Steve. And I'm so glad I have one fan.